Hi, my name is Mariah, and I'm a junior pursuing a degree in advertising.
Hi, my name is Emily, and I'm a junior studying speech and hearing science.
We are students from the University of Illinois studying abroad at Gura International Food Systems and Sustainability in Rome, Italy.
This video is created for our food and media course.
The main purpose of this video is to discuss responsible consumption and production.
Our goal for sustainable consumption and production is about promoting resource and energy efficiency, sustainable infrastructure, and providing access to basic services, green and decent jobs, and a better quality of life for all. Its implementation helps to achieve overall development plans, reduce future economic, environmental, and social costs, strengthen economic competitiveness, and reduce poverty.
At the current time, material consumption of natural resources is increasing, particularly within Eastern Asia. Countries are also continuing to address challenges regarding air, water, and soil pollution.
The aims of sustainable consumption and production is doing more and better with less. Net welfare gains from economic activities can increase by reducing resource use, degradation, and pollution along the whole life cycle while increasing quality of life. There also needs to be a significant focus on operating on the supply chain, involving everyone from producer to final consumer. This includes educating consumers on sustainable consumption and lifestyles, providing them with adequate information through standards and labels, and engaging in sustainable public procurement, among others.
We believe that the education system in both the U.S. and in Europe should make a better effort at informing students about these issues and how it is affecting our planet. If we start educating them at a young age, there is a larger possibility for positive impact. We must involve the younger generations. We think this topic is concerning, and we want to get more people involved with making a difference. For example, should the global population reach 9.6 billion by 2050, the equivalent of almost 3 planets could be required to provide the natural resources needed to sustain current lifestyles. Here are some more reasons on why you should get involved. 1. Less than 3% of the world's water is fresh, of which 2.5% is frozen in the Antarctica, Arctic, and other glaciers. Humanity must therefore rely on 0.5% for all of man's ecosystem and freshwater needs. Humankind is polluting water in rivers and lakes faster than nature can recycle and purify. People don't realize that their everyday small actions are contributing to a much larger problem. Being wasteful, polluting, and deciding to not recycle are a few examples of how we are damaging our planet. Thus, we must keep in mind sustainable consumption and production and incorporate that into our daily habits to make a difference.
Another factor we also looked into was our use of energy throughout the day. We learned that households consume 29% of global energy and consequently contribute to 21% of resultant CO2 emissions. However, if people worldwide switched to energy-efficient light bulbs, the world would save $120 billion annually. The good thing is that the share of renewable energy in final energy consumption has reached 17.5% in 2015. People also don't realize their effect when they are wasteful with food they purchase. Each year, an estimated 1/3 of all food produced, equivalent to 1.3 billion tons worth, around $1 trillion, ends up rotting in the bins of consumers and retailers or spoiling due to poor transportation and harvesting practices. Land degradation, declining soil fertility, unsustainable water use, overfishing, and marine environmental degradation are lessening the ability of the natural resource base to supply food. The food sector accounts for around 30% of the world's total energy consumption and accounts for 22% of total greenhouse gas emissions. Hearing about these statistics is scary to think about. We feel as though Italy has made better strides towards being responsible consumption and production compared to the U.S.
Here are a few differences that we have noticed while studying abroad in Rome, Italy, that are not so prevalent in the U.S. Rome and other surrounding cities in Italy enforce stricter recycling policies. There are better and more organized ways to separate one's trash. This includes separating organics from glass, from recyclable material, and plastic when throwing out your waste. Most, if not all restaurants also have implemented this strategy. Grocery stores have an additional fee added too if you purchase a grocery bag instead of bringing your own reusable bag. This encourages customers to bring their own bags when shopping, thus reducing the amount of harmful waste.
Another thing I have noticed while being in Italy is that at restaurants, we are given appropriate portion sizes when ordering food. Back in the US, we are so used to going to a restaurant and ordering a dish that is big enough to feed 2 people. While ordering these dishes, people either don't finish them completely or take the leftovers home that ends up sitting in the fridge for a week before being dumped into the trash. Here in Italy, to-go boxes aren't really a thing because the restaurants serve people an appropriate portion. People often get charged a fee for requesting a to-go box. We have noticed this not just in Italy, but in other European countries as well. These practices discourage customers from being wasteful.
A student studying abroad can contribute to achieving this goal before, during, and after their experience by following 2 rather simple rules. The first rule, reduce your waste. And the second rule, be thoughtful about what you buy and choosing a sustainable option whenever possible. We mentioned one easy way to reduce your waste would be by bringing your own reusable bags to grocery stores. Although the U.S. does not charge money for supplying customers with plastic bags, we can make a conscious effort to bring our own reusable bags upon returning home back to the States. This is something we are doing here in Rome, and we will continue doing for the rest of our semester abroad.
Before Mariah and I came to Rome, we did bring a couple of our own reusable bags to take to the grocery store. In addition, we came prepared with reusable water bottles as well. These are actions we decided to take before our study abroad experience.
Another action we are taking during our study abroad experience is to shop at farmers markets to buy our fresh produce. Not only does this support the locals here in Rome, it also helps to reduce waste. Supermarkets have an issue with contributing to a large amount of food waste being produced. There are plenty of people who are struggling to make ends meet that would appreciate this food being donated to them. In my opinion, that is a much better alternative than dumping out perfectly edible food.
You can buy from sustainable and local sources, and you can make a difference as well as exercising pressure on businesses to adopt sustainable practices. Since becoming a college student, I started to realize how much waste I was producing each day living on my own. I would overbuy food that would eventually spoil and wouldn't recycle any of my boxes or bottles. Being here in Italy has made me way more conscious of these everyday things. I have learned to pre-plan my meals that I'm going to eat for the week. This has helped me not buy food I won't end up consuming, and so nothing gets wasted at the end of the day. In my opinion, this is a great way for people to start so they can help save our planet.
We'd like to share some of the target goals for responsible consumption and production with you. By 2030, halve per capita global food waste at the retail and consumer levels, and reduce food losses along production and supply chains, including post-harvest losses. Another one is to encourage companies, especially large and transnational companies, to adapt sustainable practices and to integrate sustainability information into the reporting cycle. And another one is by 2030, sustainably reduce waste generation through prevention, reduction, recycling, and reuse. Also, rationalize inefficient fossil fuel subsidies that encourage wasteful consumption by removing market distortions in accordance with national circumstances, including by restricting taxation and phasing out those harmful subsidies where they exist to reflect their environmental impacts, taking fully into account the specific needs and conditions of developing countries and minimizing the possible adverse impacts on their development in a manner that protects the poor and affected communities.
A couple other target goals include developing and implementing tools to monitor sustainable development impacts for sustainable tourism that creates jobs and promotes local culture and products. Support developing countries to strengthen their scientific and technological capacity to move towards more sustainable patterns of consumption and production. By 2030, we want to ensure that people everywhere have the relevant information and awareness for sustainable development and lifestyles in harmony for nature.
More people globally are expected to join the middle class over the next 2 decades. This is good for individual prosperity, but it'll increase demand for already constrained natural resources. If we don't act to change our consumption and production patterns now, we will cause irreversible damage to our environment. Visit the website www.un.org/sustainable development to find out even more ways that you can make a positive impact.
We hope you all incorporate responsible consumption and production habits into your daily lifestyle.